Welcome back, everybody. Today we got a pretty obscure chore to tackle. We've got the L2501 out, and we're going to try and pull a big maple tree across the river. So stay tuned, I'll show you what we're working with. Some of you keen viewers might have already noticed this, but this is a driveway where you've seen some work done in the past. Pumpkin patch, house. Right here we got a nice little bend in the river. It's really, usually, pretty aesthetically pleasing and nice to look at, but we had a giant limb of a dead maple fall right in the crook of the river. Not easy to get to. But I think we've got enough materials, tools, ambition to get this done today. I've got my helper, my son here. He's grown about 6 inches since you've seen him in the last video. But baseball season's over, his team won the championship. School's out now, so he's got some free time. What we're working with, we got the L2501. It's pretty well stripped down. I got the pallet forks on there to carry things. Got our saw, Husqvarna 545. I've got a tow strap, nothing on the back because I'm going to try and hook up to the drawbar here and see what we got working with. Why I'm doing this now on a Sunday is the river is about as low as it's going to get. It's going to rain all week, so now's the time to tackle this. So first thing is I'm going to see if I have enough cordage and chains to try and reach that tree from here. This is about as far as I'm willing to back up the tractor without getting into some wet sandy area. This thing reportedly has a brake strength of like 30,000 pounds, so I don't think I'm going to ruin it. Either way, it just sits in my truck, and I've used it to pull the tractor out of a bank once, but I've never actually had to use it to pull anybody out. So our initial attempt there, we did have to back the tractor up just a little bit more. And really, I think I could back it up 20 feet more if I really wanted to. We're hooked on to a pretty substantial chunk of that dead tree, but it's still dead, so it might just break. We'll see what happens. Tractor's in low, it's in 4-wheel drive. Let's see what happens. Well, that didn't work. You saw the tire spin there. The tractor is a light tractor. It'd do a little better if I had some chains on there, but this is a big chunk of tree we're trying to move here. So next step is to cut it into pieces, manageable pieces, and see what happens. I'm not wearing chaps. It is about 90 degrees and humid, so I'm gonna be super careful, be in the water, and see what happens. We're not off to the best start. As soon as I got down into these weeds, I hit a rock with the chain, so I have to run back up to the house and get a file. But I've got the top off of this thing, so I should be able to drag that out of the way, no problem. Walking through here, I can back the tractor up another 20-25 feet if I decide to, but still, this chunk of maple limb is still a pretty darn hefty piece of wood. I'm not confident I'm going to be able to drag it out of here. I could go up top of the hill, but I think I'd have a different type of struggle up there. It's tough to tell on the camera, but that's about a 25-foot drop from the field up top to down here. So I'm gonna keep picking at it from down here. So definitely hit a rock out there. Some of these teeth are going to need a little bit of work before we get them doing some more cutting. But so far it's working pretty darn good. I am having to use the diff lock on the tractor there. It's wet, sandy soil on top of wet, humid ferns, so those R4 tires don't have the best traction, and it's a light tractor, so we're spinning, but we're moving stuff. So I'm gonna get this sharpened and we'll start tugging on the heavier pieces. I would love a grapple, but I'm pretty sure I don't need a grapple. Those folks do all right for me so far. Well, that was my first real bonehead move of the day, which isn't bad considering it's the end of the day. I got my bar pinched. I thought all the weight was on here, but clearly not the case. There's still some more weight on here. I had my undercut most of the way through there, but still. That's why it's important to have two saws in a scenario like this. This is the downstream section. This is just a real nice place we like to maintain. So this has been an eyesore since a storm came through this winter and took it off that dead tree. There's a lot of good firewood in here, but it's kind of dangerous, so we're gonna see what happens. Hopefully the level of this river comes up and just knocks it down, so I've got some more wiggle room, but we'll get this cleaned up and see what happens. We ended up making quite the skidder road onto our beach there, but in a couple weeks you won't even notice it. Suns are very fulfilling, both physically, mentally. I highly recommend them. All right, we've got the old backup here. This is a Husqvarna 435. This was the first saw I ever bought. It's a little too small for some bigger things, but I found it to be super reliable. It just sits on a shelf, so see how quickly it starts up for me. It's been a while since I started it, probably 6 months or so. Success! I was hoping that wouldn't drop in the water, and it didn't. That's about as much as I feel like cutting off of this thing safely. Even that last bit didn't feel super safe. Highly recommend chaps if you're gonna do something like this, but I think I'm just gonna let nature take its course with this one, and yeah, maybe I'll get an excavator out here and be able to pull that someday, but that's not today. you can see how big some of this limbwood was. I can pretty confidently say if I didn't have this compact tractor, I would this tree would have been an eyesore for me and my family for years, and it would have bugged me to no end. So very thankful for the tractor today, and thankful to spend the time with my son. It's a nice day playing in the water, if nothing else. Neither of us got hurt. We didn't break the tractor, so everything's in good shape. The stream bend looks a lot better. I got this out of there. It's not collecting leaves anymore. I'm hopeful that this winter a big ice storm will come through. Usually in February, March, the water will get all the way up to the top of this bank. So maybe it'll throw that big trunk out of sight here. But yeah, if you enjoyed following along, please consider subscribing, liking the video. We'll take this slag of firewood up to the woodyard one night this week. This is some of the most cumbersome firewood will have come across. We do get all the firewood from the property here, so if you like watching that stuff, subscribe. We'll see some more of it in the future. But yeah, thanks for following along. We'll see you guys at the next one.